Good evening, everyone. As always, a sincere thank you for tuning in and spending a little time with us. It's the last Monday of August for doing so. Today's the 26th day of the month. September just around the corner, and as sure as you thought fall was, it's not. I have 80 degrees across the board in our forecast tonight. In fact, 88 tomorrow, another 88 or two to throw at you, and a few folks might even get in on a degree or two more than that. That's pretty much 90 degrees any way you want to look at it. A much more summer-like forecast, just when you thought summer was gone by the wayside. And I've got some more news on the weather front, looking a little bit farther down the road. If you want to pick up the most recent edition of the Farmer's Almanac, which touts itself an 80% record as far as being correct in its predictions. Hoping maybe they're not this time around. We'll get to all of that in much more detail in just a few moments. Founders Day starts less than 24 hours from now. I'll go through your schedule of events real quickly for you so you can make your plans and get tuned into everything that's going on. Football kicked off literally this past Friday night, and I've got some scores for you. No highlights ads of yet. A lot of away games. That changes this Friday. I had a phone call from a friend and viewer of ours last night who told me who he saw strolling down around Gate City yesterday. Chuck's making some good time. We'll check in with him real quickly as I got that kind of personal update. Also, the last call today, and as we normally do, anytime we have a fallen firefighter, police officer, first responder, we'll bring you those last remarks on their behalf via that final call as it went out across the Johnson County airwaves earlier today. A new community calendar for the new week, of course, and a whole lot more. A couple of things before we get to local headlines. First off, the Emergency Management Office in one Kentucky county, specifically Clay, has lost one of their own. The assistant director of Clay County's Division of Emergency Management was killed in a freak accident over the weekend. It happened yesterday on his property on a small embankment, and it involved an ATV. It also claimed the life of Jennings Johnson, who's being remembered at this hour as a loving father. The assistant director of the Clay County Emergency Management, an avid outdoorsman as well, who was on his ATV going to, I believe, feed some animals when he was going up what was said to be just a small embankment. He stopped on it, and maybe upon attempting to take back off on the machine, it flipped over, pinned him underneath. A neighbor came to his aid, and life-saving resources were utilized on scene and elsewhere, but he died a short time later from the injuries he sustained in that ATV accident. And we know the identity of a man who perished in a Powell County fire over the course of the weekend. Last night, we understand the fire was already engulfing the home upon arrival of the emergency personnel in the fire department, who says that they have now determined that 74-year-old Robert Ledford is believed to be the victim inside the home. He had actually rebuilt this home a quarter of a century ago after a previous fire on the property. As far as this second blaze that is related to his home, an arson investigator has been called. Police are looking into the origin. They've not released any information, and they do not suspect foul play at this time. But once again, the victim has been identified as 74-year-old Robert Ledford. Well, going back to what I referred to a few moments ago, man, it's been a wild ride weather-wise all year long, and we've been off the charts one way or the other pretty much all year long. And that may indeed be the threat that's going to continue, just in a little bit different fashion. The Farmer's Almanac, the most recent edition, hit the newsstands today. You might not want to pick it up. You might. I don't know after I tell you this, but they're using some really strong four-letter words when they talk about the winter, and COLD in all caps is definitely one of them. They're putting some pretty strong words in front of it, too. Piercing cold, bitterly cold, biting cold. That's all being used to describe the winter that they say lies ahead of us. And if its predictions are correct, the first outdoor Super Bowl in a long, long time, they say, is going to be one big wintry mess. The publication has been around nearly 2 centuries, 197 years. The most recent edition hit the newsstands today, and it predicts a winter storm is going to hit the Northeast right around the time the Super Bowl is going to be played on February the 2nd. It's going to be played at MetLife Stadium in the Meadowlands in New Jersey, and it also is predicting a colder than normal winter for 2/3 of the country and heavy snowfall in the Midwest, Great Lakes, and New England. There's something to look forward to. Based on planetary positions, Sunspots and lunar cycles, the almanac's secret formula is largely unchanged since founder David Young published the first almanac back in 1818. Modern scientists don't put much stock in sunspots or tidal action, but the almanac says its forecast used by readers to plan weddings and plant gardens has been correct over that nearly 200 years, more than 80% of the time. Last year, they say, the forecast called for cold, for example, in the eastern and central part of the nation with milder temperatures west of the Great Lakes. It started out totally opposite, but they draw attention to the fact that that's exactly how it ended up. Caleb Weatherby, the publication's elusive prognosticator, says he was off by only a couple of days or two in the season's biggest storms last year, the February blizzard that paralyzed the Northeast with 3 feet of snow in some places and a sloppy storm the day before spring's arrival that buried parts of New England. As for the Super Bowl on February the 2nd, it is going to be the first one to be played outdoors in potentially a cold weather environment for a long time. It could be a super cold, super messy Super Bowl on February the 2nd. The almanac calls for a major storm to strike February the 1st to the 3rd. We've still got some summer left, whether the calendar says so or not. I'll update your forecast, and we'll begin with local headlines right after this. Faster, friendlier, family-owned Parkway Pharmacy, open 8:30 till 6:30 Monday through Friday in the new McGoffin Medical Plaza under the care of local pharmacist Jesse Rudd. To make Parkway Pharmacy your pharmacy, come by or give us a call at 349-4400. Stop by to see how, with a guaranteed trade-in, you can drive off in this gorgeous 2011 Hyundai Sonata for $17,950 or $299 a month. Or how to drive off with a little soul for $12,950 or $235 a month, or how to drive off with a lot of style in this Dodge Ram Daytona at $15,950, all at Premier Motors in Paintsville. Whether you're coming home or just want to feel at home for one night or a few, the Mortimer Lofts in Sagersville are that perfect experience you're looking for, with 2 newly restored and uniquely appointed lofts overlooking downtown from one of its historic structures filled with its history throughout. Each can accommodate up to 4 guests, 6 with the option of a connecting bedroom, or the entire floor can sleep 10 comfortably. And with all the amenities like king beds, HD TVs, free Wi-Fi, private baths, and kitchenettes to make your stay a memorable one. To see more and reserve your next visit, go to Sagersville, Kentucky on vrbo.com or email the Mortimers at 2reachsue@yahoo.
Hi, I'm Don McFarland. I want to be your family lawyer. If you've been injured on the job, if you're interested in getting your Social Security disability or SSI benefits, or if you've been injured because of someone else's negligence, or basically, if a car wreck has caused you to suffer pain, then pick up the phone and call Donald Wayne, 349-9000.
The Home Furniture Blowout Labor Day Sale is going on now through September 3rd. Don't miss these discounts. Free mattress set with any in-stock bedroom group. Free soundbar home theater with TV purchase. Receive 20% off any in-stock TV stand. Special financing up to 12 months with 0% interest. Receive a discount equal to your sales tax. And our mix and match bedroom and living room pieces have been discounted at blowout prices. Don't miss the Labor Day Sale at Home Furniture at the Highlands Plaza in Prestonsburg.
Well, I've been out for services and events thereafter pertaining to the passing of Martin City Police Chief Brian Baldwin for much of the afternoon. We'll have a bit of that before I leave you this evening. So I want to remind you about a couple of things. I've got some reports that we'll be talking about as soon as tomorrow, and updating a couple of serious ones as well. But real quickly, since it begins in less than 24 hours now, especially if you're watching the Late Show, speaking of the 35th Annual McGoffin County Founders Day celebration honoring the Rudd family, I thought we'd go over the schedule one more time. And in all reality, I'll probably work it in at least in part a little later on in the week. But just so you know, tomorrow's Tuesday the 27th and the first day of the 35th Annual Founders Day celebration, starting off at 5 with the opening ceremony. This will be in the courtyard down at the Pioneer Village and Museum. Our DAV, our muzzle loaders, our Historical Society, a whole lot of the Rudd family will be there for invocation, the anthem, a flag raising, the pledge, a salute, some singing, and an official welcome by some local officials. Now that is tomorrow at 5. At 5:15, a few moments after, at the same location, they'll unveil the Rudd name to the monument. At 6 o'clock, some special entertainment on stage. That is going to be by the Signs of Worship. They're the New Generation Church youth group. At 6:30 tomorrow night, all the big fun starts, or all the little fun, I guess we could say, with the baby pageants tomorrow night, 6:30 on the cabin stage. The list for Wednesday, not quite as long. 6 o'clock, some more special entertainment. That'll be the Rhythm and Grace Dance Group just prior to the Petite, Tiny, Little, and Junior pageants, which begin at 6:30. That is Wednesday of this week. Thursday, more special entertainment to begin. Black Powder Express, our friends take to the stage for a little entertainment to warm you up for the Miss Teen pageant. We'll be meeting the contestants a little later on in the week. Maybe even tomorrow. Tune in and see. The Miss Teen is 8 o'clock Thursday night. Friday, pretty bright and early. It's always a big show and a lot of fun. It is something everyone can enjoy. Come on down and take in the annual 4-H Pet Show. Starts at 9 o'clock. At 10, they'll have a book signing with some local and regional authors on the lawn of the community center. At noon, the school activities will start on stage. From 3 to 5, just some good old-fashioned cabin porch picking. Music by the Rudd Singers. And later on Friday, the talent showcase starts at 5. And then at 8 o'clock, of course, a big night as the Miss Magoffin County pageant. And once again, of course, we'll meet the contestants a little later on in the week. Saturday, the annual Founders 5K is Saturday morning at 9. The Rudd family greetings at the Pioneer Village at 10:45 Saturday. The parade this year, as usually is the case, starts at 1 o'clock. Lineup will be prior to that, of course. At 3 o'clock, the Sayersville Renaissance program is going to have their Lifetime Achievement Award to David Patrick, son of Henry Clay and Louise Patrick. And then later on Saturday, at 5 o'clock, the Hog Roast at the home of Tim Daniels on 460, 11 miles out of Sayersville. And there will be a square dance. It will be Saturday night. It will be at 8, and it will be in the lot there next to the Sayersville National Bank, the main location there at the mouth of Coal Branch. Sunday's itinerary, old-fashioned church services at 10 down at the cabins. The homecoming dinner starts at 12:30. That will be at the community center. And then a gospel sing starting at 6 o'clock on Sunday. And then, of course, the annual and one of the biggest attractions literally of the year for all the folks who have some memories of this area, the Tip Top Coal Camp Reunion, 10 o'clock Monday morning. And that's the rundown of your 35th annual Magoffin County Founders Day. We could never show it all. We'll have all sorts of highlights and things to see throughout the week, but the best advice is, especially with such a nice weather forecast, take in as much of it as you can. Tonight's calendar announcements brought to you on behalf of Magoffin Farm Bureau and your local agent, Doug Green, at 349-2416. Now, I've got a couple birthdays to pass along to you, and if you watch the program, and I'm most certain someone really was, I had realized just after the birthday segment that I had another birthday to be included, and I was going to work that into the last of the program, and I could not find it here on my desk anywhere. Well, after a little bit of searching, I found it today, so now it's belated with my apologies. But nevertheless, a very special birthday wish tonight goes out to a now 8-year-old plus some, Alyssa Paige Bailey. Happy 8th birthday to you, Alyssa. Her birthday was on Saturday, with lots of love from Mom, Dad, Papa Don, family, and friends. Happy belated birthday to you. And Dominic Perkins, I'm told, a happy belated birthday that just came in today. 9th birthday from Mom and Dad. They love you lots. His birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday to you, Dominic. Happy 9th, Dominic Perkins. Happy birthday to you. A reminder from the Magoffin County School System. As I find the correct page, here we are. Volunteer trainings have been scheduled for parents or members of the community who want to volunteer during this new school year. I made the same mistake last week. The training is required in order to volunteer on scheduled volunteer days or for special events or other times arranged by the staff. Here they are. Tomorrow, 9 o'clock in the morning at South Magoffin Elementary, they're having a training day for volunteers. And then it's at North Central Head Start. That's the old Sayersville Grade School campus on the hill. That's tomorrow afternoon at 1:30. Sayersville Grade Schools will be Wednesday at 10. Harold Whitaker Middle Schools will be Thursday at 10. And North Magoffin Elementaries will be Thursday at 1:30. So if you want to volunteer throughout the school year, you may need to make sure you're at one of these training events. The community blood drive here in Magoffin County is set for this Thursday, 12:30 to 5:30. Donors get a free T-shirt and a chance to win a 2013 Prius. You know, that's the very popular Toyota hybrid. Just by donating and saving a life. And that is going to be Thursday at Hardin's Medical Plaza, 12:30 to 5:30. Foothills Cares, and their annual trail ride is this Sunday, Labor Day Sunday. They'll gather at South McGoffin Elementary at 9 to register, leave thereafter. It's going to be a great ride, all proceeds benefiting the needs of our kids and our community this Sunday. $20 per machine. That's not per person, but per machine, and it's going to be a wonderful ride. And I just want to make sure I think I've got a couple of others here I don't have typed in. Been there, done that, and I've got one we'll talk about tomorrow. That's it for now for tonight's community calendar. Just a reminder, this is how you get announcements like these to us, and as always, they're free. Funeral service announcements for this Monday, the 27th of August, brought to you on behalf of our friends at the McGoffin County Funeral Home. As I understand, services were held earlier today in Sagersville for 64-year-old Grover Russell of Rockholds, Kentucky, who passed away on Friday's date, the son of the late Fred and Felsie Russell. He's survived by sons Grover Russell Jr. and Kobe Russell, and a daughter, Brianna Russell. Services for Mr. Russell were held earlier today here in Sagersville. Burial followed at the family cemetery on Lacey. Bailey's Furniture has done it again. This beautiful queen-size sleigh bed, media center, and matching chest are only $295 each, whether you buy one or buy them all. And you can save $400 and get a second nightstand with this gorgeous Von Bassett group. Lazy Boy rocker recliners start at $295, and Catnapper lift chairs start at $689 at Bailey's Furniture and GE Appliance Center. Sagersville Nursing and Rehabilitation Center is proud to announce the newest members of our family, Administrator Lane Jones and our full-time chaplain Mark Campbell and volunteer Richard Green, new faces with the same sincere desire as these, to assist you and your family with short-term rehabilitation solutions or long-term nursing care needs, close to home and those that you love. Sagersville Nursing and Rehabilitation.
It's an emergency excess sell-off at Hunt Chevrolet in Paintsville, Kentucky.
I've marked every vehicle up to $12,000 off, just like this 2013 GMC Yukon was $50,000, now $37,950. Or this 2013 Chevy Silverado was $40,000, now $27,980. An all sales decision within 15 minutes or less, or we'll give you the vehicle.
It's an emergency excess sell-off. Isn't it time to buy Hutch?
Hey everybody, Founders Day is here, and so are all of these styles of Maple City pottery honoring the Rudd family. Mixing bowls, dishes, dispensers, utensil holders, preserve jars, and much, much more. And also just in at the seasonal shop, dozens of purse and accessory designs by Just Millie, and premium clay bead jewelry for everyday or special days at Sagersville's Fraser's Prater Drugs seasonal shop. Before you call anyone else, call Asphalt Paving Company, APC, for a list of local and area paving jobs that they've done and still look great after 15 or 20 years, and for an estimate on your blacktopping project. Driveways, parking lots, residential or commercial. APC has a 10-year guarantee, decades of experience, and a reputation for using the best materials to pave, resurface, seal, or stripe your property. APC, 859-983-6433.
At work, there's nothing better than having your Appalachian Wireless smartphone with you. But you can't work all the time, and there are some places smartphones just weren't meant to go. So get yourself a second phone for when you want to play a little rough. The Sonim XP3400 is the toughest phone you can find. Rock-solid performance, a Gorilla Glass screen, GPS, it even goes underwater. Best of all, you can add a Sonim for as low as $15 a month. Better service, bigger savings. That's today's Appalachian Wireless.
Well, I got a really cool phone call yesterday. I don't have any pictures per se to go directly with the phone call. I can show you something, and you'll be very familiar, I think, with the subject. David and Valerie Patrick were headed home yesterday from visiting family, I presume. And right along Gate City, 2 or 3 miles out, they spotted a new friend of ours, making what they said was pretty good time. Retired Marine Corps Sergeant Chuck Lewis was... I had to go back and double-check this just before I started talking about this. He was here in Sagersville a week ago today. He pulled out a week ago this morning from Sagersville. He and his 150-pound cart in tow headed to North Carolina, taking a detour to Washington, D.C. to see a friend of his, a fellow Marine who's been diagnosed with terminal cancer, and he wanted to stop and see him. So he put him on his route, be it a few hundred miles at least out of the way, before he treks up to Washington, D.C. I'm sure you remember the story, leaving Washington State several months ago, on trekking, walking to Washington, D.C. to bring attention and interest in the fact that we are losing too many servicemen and women to suicide after they get out of the service, and some during, and also just to patriotism across the board. He left here a week ago. The Patricks spotted him just outside of Gate City by about 2 or 3 miles yesterday. And today, it looks as though as of around 4:15 this afternoon, which appears to be his last stop for the day, we assume, as his position is updated by satellite every 10 minutes, he was just a few miles from the North Carolina line, traveling on 19E. Yep, 405 specifically, as he had left early this morning on his latest route, trekking him, getting closer to North Carolina, and as I said, going to near the Camp Lejeune area to where his Marine that he formerly served with lives, putting him closer to his trek that will ultimately take him to D.C., and he hopes to be there relatively soon. I just was astounded by hearing that he had been spotted by someone here in our area. If it happens to you, you're on vacation, traveling, or you know someone who sees Chuck somewhere else, be sure and let us know. I've still got your weather forecast and some other news coming up after the break in just a few moments. Right now, let's get caught up on high school football, which kicked off with some big wins this past Friday night. A whole lot of road games, and that does change for this Friday. 3 out of 4 teams in our watch area were on the road this past Friday night. That includes the McGoffin County Hornets and head coach Scotty McCoy, who in his first year, in his first game, picked up a sizable win, 48-8 over South Floyd, as the McGoffin County Hornets took to the road. I'm told it was 48-0 until most of our JV players entered the game in the final half of the final quarter. Nevertheless, that puts them obviously at 1-0 on the very young season, but I am sure with a lot of energy and enthusiasm as they head to home. That's right, they're hosting Powell County in the Founders Bowl this Friday night here in Sigersville. Kickoff set for 7:30. It's going to be a great night for some high school football. Coming off a big win, we're hoping for 2 in a row out of our boys. And for Tiger football and Coach Joe Scirocco, well, the Tigers, a win, 55-32. A lot of TDs in this one. 1-0, of course, in the very young season. They're hosting Morgan County this coming Friday night. Golden Eagle football, they're yet to play. They will be playing this Friday night. They'll be playing Holy Trinity at home. Kickoff set for 7:30. And for Cougar football and head coach Brian Turner, the Cougars victorious 22-13 over Estill County. And that, of course, puts them at 1-0 on the season. And they are, as we aforementioned, at Paintsville this Friday night. As for the Hornets and their first win under their new coach, I know that Ryan Jenkins had at least 2 touchdowns. I never could get the exact number. Dalton Keaton had at least 1 touchdown. Dylan Williams had at least 1 touchdown. Clay Elam, I believe, had 2 in a big rushing game, pushing near the 180-yard mark at fullback. I know that Cody Mullins and Josh Poe were leading in tackles, and it all culminated to that 48-8 win. And also, FYI, I learned that if you want to go to Big Sandy Sports Line, that's on Facebook, Big Sandy Sports Line, Scott Ratliff and I think it's WSIP. They have a poll that they run this time of year, big football fans, and you can go on there, and they've got 3 players selected. One of them is McGoffin County's Clay Elam, who did have 179 yards and 2 touchdowns in Friday night's game, and you can vote for him for the Player of the Week. Once again, that's Big Sandy Sports Line on Facebook. I'll be right back.
At the end of every race, Mark Martin hangs up his driving gloves. He hangs up his fire suit. And he hangs up his helmet. Which is why he picks up his phone and opens the ER Extra app. The app shows ER Extra wait times, locations, and more. It's the one safeguard Mark Martin is never without. ER Extra at Paul B. Hall Regional Medical Center. Extra fast, extra easy, extra great.
The Home Furniture Blowout Labor Day sale is going on now through September 3rd. Don't miss these discounts. Free mattress set with any in-stock bedroom group. Free soundbar home theater with TV purchase. Receive 20% off any in-stock TV stand. Special financing up to 12 months with 0% interest. Receive a discount equal to your sales tax. And our mix and match bedroom and living room pieces have been discounted at blowout prices. Don't miss the Labor Day sale at Home Furniture at the Highlands Plaza in Prestonsburg.
170s, 500, 570, 800, 900s, 2 seats, 4 seats, Razors, Rangers, and XPs in the hottest colors with the coolest accessories with the best financing available and rebates up to $1,000 at Connelly's, Kawasaki, and Polaris of Paintsville. And as I'm still trying to put out of my mind the prognostication made by the Farmer's Almanac that I referred to at the top of the program, let's talk about summer weather, which is still going to make a run at us. I have got upper 80s throughout the entire forecast period, with a day tomorrow that will flirt with 90 degrees for quite a bit of the viewing area, if not all. I topped out at 90 degrees today out here in the front of the newsroom, so keep that in mind throughout the forecast. There is, a little past the forecast period, some relief coming. Nevertheless, tonight, a low of 66, partly cloudy, a really nice summer evening, followed by more of the same. The forecast is very similar, except for the chance of showers, thunderstorms when we get into Wednesday and Wednesday night and early Thursday. It's pretty much the same forecast. 88, mostly sunny tomorrow, 69 for the low, a few clouds late, pretty much just like today. Like I said, Wednesday brings around a chance of some scattered showers and thunderstorms after 11 in the morning through the afternoon. That chance will wane throughout the evening hours. High of 87, a low of 69. Thursday, after a slight chance of some isolated showers, thunderstorms early, I think the sun's going to return. And then we're going to see clear, calm conditions thereafter. 85, 67, creeping up to 87 for your daytime high on Friday. More of the same, mostly sunny, a few clouds late to speak of. Upper 80s by the weekend. There's your Founders Day forecast staring at you. 87 on Sunday, more mostly sunny skies above. Slight chance of some showers and thunderstorms late, but all in all, we're sitting in the mid and even upper 80s throughout the entire forecast period. After next week, Labor Day Monday, then Tuesday and Wednesday thereafter, we may, well, I think more than likely, get in on some fall weather. We'll talk about that when it gets a little closer. And lastly this evening, as we do whenever we have the opportunity to pay tribute to our fallen first responders, fire, police, and rescue personnel, the final call, as was given by local dispatcher Jewel Wireman of McGoffin County 911 in honor of Officer Brian Baldwin, Martin City Police Chief.
Dispatch 3604. Dispatch 3604. Among us sent down from heaven are those that walk a thin blue line. That's a given. Chief Baldwin was idealistic and believed he could make a difference. He was immensely proud of the uniform and the badge and what they represent. He felt privileged to be of service to his department and his community. He was always giving back by serving on several fire departments and even playing Santa Claus at Christmas. He was friendly, always wearing a smile, courteous and polite, yet firm. He laughed and joked. He stood by for his fellow officers. Bob was dedicated to the profession and cared about the people he served. A good citizen and a good neighbor. Unit 3604, you have taught us what it means to be a public servant, and we will continue to follow the path you have paved. May your strength, hope, faith, and love be an example to us all. We have a peace of mind knowing you're watching over us, and we thank you for your time. Your duty is done. Heaven called home one of the finest. You can now hold your son and walk with your father. 3604, your assignment is over. We will take it from here. On August 22nd, 2013, Chief Brian Baldwin made it home. 1010 his signal 1 with our Lord and Savior. All units be advised. Unit 3604 is now 1010.